Sloth and how amazing he is for choosing it. How are you doing tonight?
Oh, not good. I can't even be positive right now.
I'm sure you'll be just fine. And in the top right portion of your screen, we have a Sloth Race newcomer. While all of our races are amazingly talented and can melt your heart, only one can melt your face. PGH Guitar Guy, how you doing, man?
Good, man. You were planning that, weren't you?
I had it in my back pocket for a while, thanks.
Happy to be here.
You feeling good? I've seen you practicing this week. You looking crisp.
Trying. I'm gonna do my best.
Outstanding. Now, next guy, bottom left. He needs no introduction whatsoever, but he is my sugar bear, so I'll give him one anyways. Poisoncurls, how you doing, buddy?
Yeah, doing good, man.
Dude, you've got, so going into the race, you've got the best PB by a few minutes. You've been pretty much streaming this every single day, and I've enjoyed watching you.
Yeah, man, ready to rock. Let's go.
Outstanding. And obviously, Square One does not need an introduction either, but I'm going to give him one because he was not actually supposed to be racing tonight. He is a backup. We had a cancellation, and he stepped up even after like a 12-hour work day. So I appreciate you being here, buddy.
No problem. It's going to be fun.
That's why we do it. All right. So, Poison, you're going to be the game sound. So whenever this happens, you're going to mute deafen so your mic doesn't come through your sound, and I will unmute you. But if everybody's ready, we're going to be doing 2 laps of the game, which means they're going to complete the game. And whenever they see the Mount Rushmore at the end, they're going to do a hard reset of the game and start over. And the first person to complete the game twice is going to be our winner. All right, if everybody's ready, I'll go ahead and count us down. 3,
Wait,
2.
where do you start from? Just the screen, like the Simpsons screen?
Yeah, I guess the Simpsons screen. But I'm gonna go ahead and count us down. 3, 2, 1, go. Good luck to all the racers.
Good luck.
All right. Getting right into stage 1. So, the whole premise behind the game is that space mutants have invaded Springfield, and only Bart can see them because he has X-ray glasses. You're not going to get to see them use it during the race because it's not part of the speed run, but that is why he knows. And whenever you use the ability, you can actually tell who is and who is not a space mutant. So some of these people walking around, they are space mutants and can damage Bart. But the first level, Chaos, you just want to tell us a little bit about this?
Yeah. So basically, the way you can tell, even though you're not wearing your sunglasses, is if you jump on top of the humans, if Bart takes damage, they were real humans, and Bart takes 1 hit. He has 2 hits total, so you can only afford to take 1 hit before you finally end up dying.
Yeah.
The bad news about the game is there are no continues. So if you lose all of your lives, if you look at the bottom UI, it says lives current 5. If that reaches 1 and then you finally die your last hit, you will game over. You would have to start all the way from the beginning. And as you can tell, Bart actually controls with ice physics, I guess you can say, but like ×2.
He kind of skids to a stop whenever they turn around, yeah.
Yeah, he tends to slide a lot, so it is very difficult to control Bart in general. And we'll see how they go, but usually when it comes to just the first level, Springfield, the very first level is very easy. There's really nothing hard about it, just mainly trying to get past the first level and moving on from there.
Yeah, and the first level, what they're doing right here is you see down on the bottom right of their screen, it says goals. They're trying to get rid of all the purple things. It's part of the aliens' plan that they need purple objects to take over the Earth, I suppose. So they either have to hide, spray paint, or, scare off anything that is purple. And they have a number of purple items that they absolutely have to get before they can get to the end of the boss. You see Poison there. He just finished off Nelson, which is the boss at the end. Yeah, that Nelson. And he's moving on to level 2. But that's what they're doing. They're trying to get all the purple stuff going. And how many goals is it? Like at the start of the level, how many purple?
The very first one, I believe it's 30. It always tells you right at the beginning. I never actually know because when you do a speed run, you just know where everything is, and obviously pinpoint where you need what you need to do. So basically, this game has every single level has a different goal. In the second level, which is Mall over at Poisoncurls at the bottom left, you have to collect hats. So basically, the aliens, you remove the source of the energy that they want, and coming the next level, for whatever reason, they somehow change the energy, and you just get different goals, but the process is exactly the same thing, where you just pick up the goals, make that reach 0, and if you happen to reach all the way where the boss would be located, you won't be able to go to the boss. You would need to turn back and actually finish the goal, so you can't just somehow cheat the game.
That trash can that Poison just used, is that like an alternate dimension? Because he just jumped through the trash can to, like, I don't even know how that works, but level 2...
I have no idea.
Level 2, the goal is to get rid of hats, because that's what they try to use in level 2, so you see lots of shoes and stuff that he's trying to negotiate through this shopping mall. There's mini-bosses as well. There's, I think Principal Skinner is one of the mini-boss in this game.
I think Principal Skinner is the mini-boss for all 3 levels, level 1, 2, and 3, the second world, but I have no idea why they even chose him.
I mean, I don't know. He's one of the antagonists for Bart in the TV show, so...
Yeah, one cool thing about this game is the game was actually released 10 different times, so 10 different consoles total.
Do you know them all?
I don't know them all offhand, but I think 6 of them are pretty much PC ports, and then the other 4 is Sega Genesis, Sega Master System, and Sega Game Gear. And what's interesting about this is if you play the Sega Genesis, which is my second favorite version of Bart vs. the Space Mutants, you actually don't have to pick up any of the goals. You can just rush all the way to the end. You can do a quote-unquote glitch where you can jump behind the invisible wall that stops you from reaching the boss, and you can just go and fight the boss at max goals, so without ever even picking any of them up. And I think there's 3 consoles that it does that, but the Sega Genesis obviously is the one that plays the fastest and better.
Everybody moving along quite well. Poison only got 3 goals left. Now, we mentioned that you only get 2 hits. Now, right there to the left of the item selection, like for Nero right now, it's X-ray specs.
Basically, where it says X-ray specs. Yeah.
Those Bart heads, those are the number of hits that you have left, and you only ever have 2 of them. So, if you take a death, you do have extra lives, and you can get more lives throughout the game. But if you run out of lives, you do have to start all the way over at the very beginning. So you'll see them throughout the course of this run. You'll see them picking up those little Krusty the Clown boxes. Nero just got one right there. Those are extra lives. So that gives them a little bit of a buffer.
And again, where it says lives, the 1 is your final life, not 0. So if you die at 1, you start back to the beginning. It doesn't go to 0 and then. But as you can tell by Poisoncurls down at the bottom left again, he is in the 3rd world, which is the circus. And a cool thing about this level is there aren't enough balloons in the level for the goal to be completed. So what you actually end up doing is you end up playing this balloon mini game in order to cheat the game. And every balloon that you pop, even though the goal is to pop to pick up the blue balloons, if you hit the red ones, they also count towards the goal. So you essentially just cheat the system by playing the mini game up to, I believe, 6 times, and then just running. And every other balloon that you pick up throughout the entire level, you'll actually have enough by the time you get to the end. Otherwise, you'll have to farm balloons because there aren't enough balloons in the level. Kind of funny.
Yeah. And of course, as Coaz just mentioned, the goal in this one is balloons. So you're going to see him using the slingshot there, getting one in the air, just like Poison just did. But they're all throughout the level. I don't know who that was throwing like the dunking booth right there. Do you know who that character is in the dunking booth?
I have no idea. In fact, like, I don't have any clue as to who any of the enemies are in the game. I did end up naming the ones that I didn't like the most. Like, for instance, the clowns that end up appearing in the circus only.
Yeah.
So basically, there's humans. Obviously, one of them is real, the other one is a mutant. But in this circus, there's actually one other human enemy that comes out, which is a clown. And I don't know his name, and I don't call him Clown. I actually call him Richard for obvious reasons.
But yeah, the poison the door there, the little door puzzle that he just left there. That's Itchy and Scratchy, which is a cartoon that Bart watches in the show. The clown is obviously Krusty, and I believe, if I'm not mistaken, the end boss of this level is Sideshow Bob.
It is, yeah. But another mention with the Itchy and Scratchy section. So basically, the Itchy and Scratchy is the Dizzy Door minigame. What you have to do is solve the doors in order to continue going forward, but you can actually cheat the system again by simply killing yourself by going right, and the Dizzy Door minigame goes away. And you don't want to do that because of how much time it takes, but essentially if you do get perfect RNG, you end up saving time, and you end up picking up 4 balloons as a prize, so you can essentially avoid having to play one of the an actual speedrun up.
Let me see Nero getting that down. Poison already at the boss. Poison took a few deaths. He had a rough patch in this one. I think that's GG over there killing what's his name, Milton?
The boss is
No, the guy that was sitting on top of the house throwing crap at him.
I have no idea who those guys are.
Yeah, little fat nerd kid and that goes to school with Bart. I'm pretty sure that's Milton.
Mm-hmm. So here we go with Poisoncurls. He is actually in the hardest level that this game has to offer. There is so much platforming and essentially precision platforming over at the museum that the checkpoints in this game are they're so bad. It's incredible. And if you watch him now, he's actually having to hop on top of alligators, and again, the section where you can actually step on them is so small while things are falling from the sky. It's brutal.
Yeah, you want to aim for their eyeballs. I think that's where the hitbox is. Clearing that spider there nicely. That monkey has trolled like literally everybody that has ever played this game.
Oh yeah, I call that monkey George because he reminds me of Curious George from the books. Just sits there, just minding his own business, and he can do quite the trouble.
Now, they're in a museum, obviously, and obviously, as you see Poison sitting there getting the exit signs, you have to get, I don't know how many of them there are, but
6. There's 6 in total that you need to pick up for the goal, but you actually never need to turn back for any of them. There's so many exit signs in this level that you don't actually have to worry about having to turn back and pick up exit signs for what PGH is currently doing. But I'm assuming that these racers are just trying to be safe and not necessarily going for speed struts.
Well, they're definitely taking into account that they have to do two runs through of the game, and they don't want to have to game over.
Exactly.
Again, they've only had 2 weeks to practice. 2 weeks ago we did Lion King, which of course Nero won. And this is a really, really tough game. So they had 2 weeks because last week, as you know, was Easter. So we didn't want to do any races there. We want to let people hang out with their families and do whatever they needed to do. But so they got a little extra practice, but it's still a really, really tough game. So you see them going for lives that maybe they wouldn't otherwise go for if they were going for like a world record or something like that. But it's
exactly
pretty much a running theme with every single race that we do is going to be safety versus speed. And literally every game we do, there's always trade-offs for safety and speed that you're going to see happening.
Yeah, you definitely want to go slow in this game, because again, you hit a game over, you have to start all the way back to Springfield. There is no continues, there is no level select, just do it from the start.
Now, this room that Poison's in right here, you want to talk about it a little bit?
Well, I just call it like the Egyptian section. In order to get past this section, you actually need to pick up like 6 or 7 ankhs. The pillar from the bottom goes from all the way to the bottom, all the way to the top after picking up 6. And then you have to put it back down for whatever reason, and dust comes from the air as well as spiders before you actually end up picking up all of the ankhs. And that's pretty much it. It's a stupid little mini game that forces you to wait for whatever reason and then be able to move forward. And if you end up dying at any point after you get past the ankh sections, you actually don't have to do it again. The game does save its progress, but if you die during the process, you have to start all the way back to 0. A little bit annoying, but the dust actually slows you down as well.
Poison just got that little head. The glass cases, if you jump on them 3 times, whatever is in the glass case will come out of the glass case. In some cases, it's a crusty head that'll give you lives, but in other cases, it's that little head that Poison picked up, which gives you, like, I think it's 10 seconds of invulnerability, which allows you just to rush through the level. So you'll see them making use of that, either to get an exit sign that's in a hard-to-reach location. If you look at Neuro right now, she's getting it and using it to get that exit sign without having to traverse the little alien there, and using it also to get through the laser beams. It's pretty good use of that.
And from Poisoncurls, he just finished fighting the last mini-boss that this game has to offer, and believe it or not, he is the pinnacle of why this level is difficult. The actual boss, which he just killed, he just jumped 3 times on his head and then the dude just dies. Trying to get past the Dino boss is the hardest thing. Like, the hitbox is so small because of how horrible Bart controls. It can be very easy to die, as well as how he's shooting his little little balls at you that can also deal damage, and it's just beyond horrible. Trying to get past that boss.
I made it to the 3rd stage in this game. Can't make any more without save states, but like straight up, I can take it like super slow, and I can make it to the 3rd stage, but not any further.
Yeah, exactly. Like the way I explain it is trying to get past the mall. If you can get past the mall, then the next difficulty would be the museum, and if you can get past the museum, then you're pretty much done. Because when it comes to the 5th world, which is the nuclear plant, what you need to do is collect 16 power rods, but Bart can only hold 4, so this is the only one where exceptions happen. And during the level, it's just pure platforming. There really isn't anything that falls from the sky or mini-bosses that come out of nowhere. And Marge, so Bart's mom, can pick up the power rods from Bart. You have to hand them in the basement in order to be able to continue picking up more power rods, but Marge has a chance of appearing, and then you also have to go and meet Maggie to give you the final 16th rod, and she won't do that unless if you collected those beforehand.
Yeah, that's it. It's a different kind of level than you're used to seeing. I mean, you have the goals, which, I mean, you call them power rods, that's like the official term for them?
Yeah, I believe so, yeah.
Like it's fissionable material to go into the nuclear reactor, or I don't know.
Yeah, exactly.
It looks like something like plutonium rods or something like that. But, yeah. So you see in Bart or Marge taking the power rods from Poison there, and at some point during the time afterwards, you'll see a little cutscene of Marge going and putting them where they're needed.
Exactly.
And that can actually mess up your gameplay by getting in the way of it. It's kind of like a little cutscene, and it comes at an unexpected time. It can actually
it does, yeah. If you've done just regular runs of how fast and slow you can go, you would understand when the cutscene is about to happen. So it's not really a big of a deal. But obviously, the fact that she needs to do the hand in, and the game shows you that it's doing it, that it is a little bit cumbersome, but it's not really that big of a deal, to be honest.
Yeah. It's just like anything else, something that you have to get used to, just like the ice physics and the timing of the aliens.
Exactly. There's just so much getting used to when it comes to this game in general. It's a little bit ridiculous.
Yeah. Poison grabbing the extra lives there.
So what's interesting about this, obviously you won't see this right now because Poison still needs to collect 12 goals, but in some of the other versions that Bart versus Space Mutants was released for, Maggie doesn't always trigger the end cutscene. So, for instance, the NES, as soon as you pick up Maggie, the game's over and the final cutscene appears. And some of the other versions, she just gives you the power rod. So you still have the danger of dying trying to get back into the basement in order to get the end trigger to happen, which is a little bit ridiculous.
Poison took one hit there because of the cutscene. He went to jump over and grab the power rod, and then it did the cutscene with Marge, and then right after he had already jumped. So it ended up costing him a life there between that and the second hit that he took. Now, ideally, how many? You can only hold so many power rods, right?
You can only hold 4. So after 4, if Marge doesn't appear because she has a RNG base of whether she's going to show up or not, you either Bart needs to go down into the basement or make Marge appear by going to a floor where she would naturally appear and seeing if she appears there. But at that, just kind of want to go to the basement.
Yeah, the Nero's actually making it past the museum stage there. I'm pretty sure that end boss is the janitor from Simpsons. The janitor of Bart's school, I'm pretty sure. Like, he's like a Scottish guy. He talks with an accent. I don't remember his name. If there's anybody in chat watching that knows, please post it. But we've actually had a follow and a host. Bones, thank you for the follow. Welcome to Procrastination. And Dragon Metal Princess 59 with the host. Thank you.
So what's neat about Bart in general is the last level is the only level where you actually utilize death warps because sometimes it would just take too long to get back. Because if you've noticed, this is the only level that there are doors with locks on them, and you just need to input the lock in order to get the door to open. So if you can avoid having to input that code, twice because you need to go in it and then come back out, you can just death warp yourself and appear at the door where you want to appear.
So death abuse almost.
Yep. Yeah, it's just a death abuse. You don't in an actual speedrun you would only use it 4 times, but since I've never done races myself, I don't really know if anyone would be using them, but again, if you look at Poisoncurls, and he went from the far right second door to the all the way to the elevator on the second floor, and he death warped himself back to the door because anytime he died, you just appear at the last exit where you were located. So instead of having to input the code and having to do platforming by avoiding mutants, he just killed himself and appeared at the door rather than
No. I mean, there's a lot there's a lot going on in this last level. I mean, it can be so disorienting too. I found
it is. If anyone has ever played a game called Ghoul School is basically you run around as the protagonist in a school, and it's basically doors everywhere and halls everywhere. If you haven't seen it, you just want to maybe just look it up on YouTube and see a minor playthrough of it. So this level just reminds me a lot of Ghoul School, where it does look very confusing, but it's not really if you know where everything is. So even though it might look huge, it really isn't. It's just the game just makes it look like it's bigger than it actually is.
Poisoncurls getting towards the, or Square One getting towards the end of the mall. About halfway through. And everyone else is actually on the power plant. So we actually have a really close race going on. Like all these guys have been practicing for 2 weeks. They're pretty consistent. And their PBs are within 3 minutes of each other. So, there's a little bit of a spread for performance each race, Some people might make a mistake here and there, but since it's a marathon, anybody has the chance to win.
Exactly.
They're pretty darn close right now, if I do say so myself. So it might get down
even though they might look like they're really far apart, they really aren't. And any mistake can easily cost him the entire game. So if you look at Poisoncurls, he currently has 3 lives.
Right.
So he does not want to end up dying anytime soon, because if he does, he's pretty much at the beginning of the game and just lost 25 minutes.
Yep, and he got Maggie, so there he goes.
Yep.
So
Poisoncurls with the first clear out of 2, so congratulations to him, but obviously he still has 1 more to go to see if he can actually take the entire thing or not.
Yeah, and there's Mount Rushmore. Poisoncurls resetting the game. He's on the last lap now. Poisoncurls has actually been in all but 3, I think, of our races, and the reasons for that is, I think whenever there was a hurricane in North Carolina, what was the name of the hurricane? I can't remember. But it took out his internet, so he wasn't able to participate in one race. And then,
Really?
Yeah, he had something else that he was practicing for, so he couldn't participate in another one. And then last week, he was actually the world record holder for Lion King on Super Nintendo, and he was our commentator. So those are the only 3. But every other race that we've ever done, Poison has been in there. And he hasn't won since the first race that we did, which was Speedy Gonzales Los Gatos Banditos for Super Nintendo. So
Nice.
he's pretty hungry for the. He's pretty hungry to get his second win in.
Yeah, he is killing it so far. Both Nero and PGH have still 8 more power rods to collect, while Poison is already at halfway through the very first.
Yeah, everything. Look, he's got really, really clean movement, which is a lot harder than it looks with the ice mechanics. He's took a death off that little black dog. I have no idea what makes that dog spawn, but it's extremely annoying.
It's the popping of the cherry bomb that makes him appear sometimes.
Oh.
Sometimes he just doesn't show up. I actually end up calling him Junior or Richard Jr. for his full name, for the very reason that he can be quite the pain if he ends up showing up and you're just not expecting it.
Yeah. Now, you see Nero. She just gave a box of donuts to Homer. If Homer shows up and you get a box of donuts to give to him, he actually kills everything on the screen or in the room that you're in, which makes it a lot easier to traverse. And your sister Lisa, she actually tells you the codes to the door. You see Nero right there. The combination for this door is 11, so by this point in the game they've got it memorized, but Lisa's the one that would tell you in a normal playthrough, so you kind of have to seek her out to be able to get the codes if you don't already know them.
Yeah, not only that, but she sometimes gives you the codes for different floors, so she'd be like, floor 5, the code is 21, but you're actually in floor 2, and it's like, oh, okay, now I need to write it down or remember and see what's up. If you look at Poisoncurls, if you end up buying the whistle that you can buy in one of the shops right here, if you use it at the end of the retirement home, Grandpa Simpson actually comes out and throws coins at you. And from what I've heard, if you have over 10 coins, you actually gain a 1-up. Not really sure how that's activated, but apparently that's
I've never seen that before. I didn't even know that, but yeah.
It is. Grandpa Simpson does not look very great graphic-wise, but he's there.
Okay, so Guitar Guy is actually moving on to Mount Rushmore. He's going to do a hard reset, and he's back into it. I had something else that I wanted to say about... the first level. We didn't get the chance to mention. There's a lot going on in this game, so we're not going to be able to get to everything the first run.
Exactly, yeah. There's just a way to...
We forgot to mention that they buy certain items in the shops. Like you see GG picking up the spray paint can, which he uses to change the signs and stuff. But like they go into the tool shop and buy a wrench, which they use to... mess with the fire hydrant after they spray it?
Yeah, it washes off the purple on the store, and that actually counts as one of your gold.
Yeah, and you can't do that without the wrench. The birds there, you have to throw the cherry bomb to scare the bird in the pet shop window, and a bottle rocket to scare away the bird that is sitting on the Springfield statue there. It's kind of funny how the game utilizes
the purple objects.
And of course, later in the museum, you've got the dart gun and various other things. But inventory management is also a part of this game, and that's something I don't think enough people pay enough attention to, because if you don't have the appropriate items, if you don't save ammo or some other key item, if you don't have it or get it, then you can screw yourself, and you can have to go back and lose tons of time.
Yeah, that actually only affects the first level, so it only affects Springfield, mainly because you need the rockets in order to get rid of the drapes at the end of the level, in order to get rid of the purple drapes, and you need, obviously, the cherry bombs in order to get rid of the one bird that's down at the bottom. And what's cool is if you guys look over at PGH Guitar, there's actually 3 different ways you can do the skateboarding section. But obviously they're just doing it the normal way. But you can actually wrong warp if you shoot the bird from the right side where you already have the skateboard, and then you lose the skateboard, pick the skateboard back up again and kill yourself going right, you'll actually get wrong warped all the way to the far right, which is something that the world record does not do, because at that moment I didn't know that wrong warping was even a thing. There's also a way where you can ride the skateboard while the letters or the cutscene happen. So there's different ways, again, 3 different ways to get past this section, but everyone just uses the normal way for
Most
same
of them-
purpose, obviously.
Most of them, I've noticed, they stay towards the top, and they jump over the dogs, and then, of course, the aliens and the other kid on the skateboard that comes and tries to knock you off. They just jump, because he can't go any further forward than Bart is while he's on the skateboard, so a well-timed jump can make you invulnerable to that guy.
Exactly.
Something else to point out is that whenever you go in front of the Quickie Mart there, if you shoot the E in Quickie Mart with one of your bottle rockets, you'll get 3 lives that pop out of there, a little crusty head.
Well, it's actually only 1 live, but you also get sound tests. So, like we were mentioning before, the sound test will mess with your menus. So, if you weren't expecting the sound test to be there, like what Nero just did, it'll just mess up the positioning of your rockets, and it could just be like having to flip over again until you see the rockets once again.
Right. So she went from like 4 to 7 lives whenever she got.
Oh,
that.
really?
Yeah.
Okay. If it was 3 lives, I had no idea.
I'm pretty sure it's 3, because I was looking. She had 4 lives, and then she got that out of the Quickie Mart, and then it's she went to 7.
Okay.
So
Wow, that's
Square One's
interesting.
Square One's coming up to the Quickie Mart now. Let's see if he gets it.
Maybe he might not even know about it. Oh, he does know about it. Okay. Okay, so he has 3 lives, like you mentioned.
Is he gonna get it?
Oh, let's see. He should be good
There it
as
is.
soon as...
3 lives. Yep, 3 lives.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
I
so-
had no clue.
Yeah.
I actually ended up doing an in-depth of this game because of how many versions actually end up existing, and I had no idea that your count went to 3 up. That's ridiculous.
Yep. I've been watching pretty much all these guys practice all week long, and that was something that they rely on heavily. Obviously learning the game, and this game being so brutal as it is, they get that pretty much every time through, just as a safety. But I imagine that it's something whenever you get to world record status, you can just skip that.
You just skip that entirely. You don't even pick up any extra lives. You just book it and the end.
Just out of curiosity.
Go ahead.
How many lives? How many deaths do you take? Do you go through?
And you only do 4 deaths in the final level. If you die any more than that, is obviously pure accidental.
Yeah, so
but
it's just
you take 4 on purpose.
Yeah, just to abuse the death and skip ahead.
Yeah, because even though this is a platforming and you can't really do much when it comes to the platforming, the death warps in level 5, which is the nuclear plant, you actually end up again saving like a second or a half a second because of the death warp. Even though every time you die, it does. Bart goes, what's he say? Like, come on, man, or something like that.
Eat my shorts.
And eat my shorts, man. And then the screen goes black, and then the Bart reappears. Even though all of that is happening, you actually end up still saving time, but only in 4 rooms, not everywhere. So it's a little crazy.
Nero getting stomped on by Principal Skinner there. And I have no idea what possessed the game makers to put him inside of a big boot.
No idea. He's actually my favorite mini boss, because I always looked at him and I'm like, that's a really big shoe. And if you look behind him in the background, it says the really big shoe, and I was like, wow. It just got me right in the feels when I saw that.
All right. So GG, this little suitcase dude, this is the final boss on level 2. And he drops suitcase
according to
down.
people, this is the Babysitter Bandit. So I'm assuming the Babysitter Bandit is a female. I'm not 100% sure on that though.
What is that, 5 hits that you got to get on that guy?
Yeah, 5 hits.
Yeah, so 5 hits on
And
him. Essentially, he
he
drops
actually-
bags, and then you have to stomp on the bag yourself, and you have to do it pretty quickly without getting hit by it to get it to jump back up and hit him 5 times to knock him out.
Yeah, she moves rather quickly, so even though it might seem simple, it really isn't. And if you pick up the coins, so you get coins from killing the space mutants, so the fake humans that you would know by wearing the X-ray, you actually end up picking up coins, and those coins are proof that it shows proof that there are really mutants that are taking over Springfield, and that's what allows the use of, like right now, if you look at the bottom left with Nero, you see Marge, and with Poison you see Homer. They actually end up helping you at the boss fights. When they help you, quote unquote, with the boss fights, it doesn't really end up helping you, because with Marge, she'll remove like every other suitcase, but the suitcase is what you need in order to kill the boss, so it's like, why would you even want to bother picking up the coin?
Yeah. There's a lot of parts of the game that we're not going to be able to show just simply because it is a speed run.
Yeah, exactly.
But if anybody out there wants to do a casual playthrough of this and you want advice on how to beat it, ChoasLegionKaeru, he streams. How many nights a week do you stream, man?
I do speed runs like in the weekend, so Friday to Saturday and Sunday. Obviously, when I was speedrunning this game, I was doing it for probably 3 months plus, just trying to push the time as low as I possibly could. And I did an in-depth of the NES version and every other version that follows, so 9 other, as well as speedran every single one, as well as doing all 10 at once with no game overs. So I put in quite the number of time on this game just because of how fun it is, considering how BS and difficult it can get.
So if you're watching and you'd like to drop ChoasLegionKaeru a follow, if you can put a link, like if you just want to put the URL to your Twitch in my chat, people can go ahead and give you a follow there. But we really appreciate you commentating with me. I never would have been able to do it myself.
Yeah, no problem, man. The game, again, it has a lot to do with just trying to control Bart. So, again, though these players are making it seem super easy, if you end up playing the game yourself, you will actually end up having to either do save states or multiple playthroughs and get used to what Bart actually does in the game, because it's quite incredible what these players have been able to do in 2 weeks.
Yeah, I mean, they were all using save states at the very beginning. They were having to use save states literally like 3 or 4 or even 5 per level just to be able to get through the entire game, just sort of save scrum their way through it.
That's exactly what I did. The first playthrough took me 5 hours just to be able to do with save states, let alone without them.
For some odd reason, my chat bot is not connected. I haven't seen a single message from my chat this entire broadcast, so I apologize. I'm not being snobby, I swear. I can see follows and hosts and stuff, but I cannot see chat. And I did not.
Yeah, that's happened to me before. I had to avoid using Twitch chat for that same order to actually be able to see chat. Otherwise, I would never see anyone talking. it just constantly disconnects. It's a little bit annoying.
I think it was probably an update. Right before I started the stream, I had to do an update on it, so I think it wiped out all of my OAuth data. So I've got to do it all over again. But yeah, we have. Go ahead.
If you look at Poisoncurls, this fossil section, what I've actually ended up learning is the faster you go, the safer it'll be. Because if you slow down, the pterodactyls will actually end up popping you, and you do not want to die in that section because you'll appear like a quarter into the fossil section instead of at the start of boss.
But we actually just have Poison making it back to the power plant for the second time. And what is that little vine creature? It looks like something out of Super Mario Brothers that GG is fighting right there.
The plant?
Yeah, the plant. I guess we'll
just
call
the
it
plant mini boss. I don't know. I call that guy Seymour. I have no idea what he has it.
And Nero is coming to Sideshow Bob. So it's a pretty interesting race. I think we can probably go ahead and hand this to Poison unless he just decides to screw himself really badly. Screw the pooch, as Poison would say. Yeah,
I hope not, but
I certainly hope not.
Yeah, he's been doing super well. Coming into the final world with 8 lives, again, if you want to purposely kill yourself to make rooms go slightly faster, you only need 4, so you always need to have at least 5 lives. And there are 3 hidden, quote-unquote, hidden lives in this world, so with the 8 plus the 3, it's just a lot. And if you can tell, you just saw Maggie in the very first floor. Maggie actually has 5 different locations she can appear in this level. And floor 1 is being the fastest because even though you want Marge to do the hand-ins for you, if Maggie is in a good spot, you actually want Bart to do the hand-in himself in order to speed things up faster, because if you give them to Marge, Marge always takes her time in order.
Right, okay.
And being in floor 1 is by far the fastest.
Yeah, I was actually going to ask that
like
question.
15 seconds or so.
If the random locations of Maggie would have any bearing on the time.
Yeah, oh yeah, it does. It's a huge time. It can go from a 15-second hand-in to a 35-second hand-in, all because you have to wait for Marge to do the hand-ins, or you just have to do a lot of transfers between going through locked doors or going through elevators or just the normal doors that are all the way to the far left and far right in order to go back to the location of where Maggie.
Yeah. And anyways, so since we're getting towards the end of the run, I'm going to go ahead and plug everybody's channel. Neuro, she runs Lion King. She runs... I know there's something else that she runs. I think it's Lester the... crap. I wish I could see my chat. Somebody would tell me. Lester the Unexpected or something. Some game like that.
Oh, if you can tell, let me point this out real quick. Poisoncurls had 4 power rods. He thought he had less, so when he went to go pick it up, he couldn't. His face was kind of funny.
Oh, I see.
But, he had to go back and do the hand-in so he can go back to the floor where he wanted to get the power rod. Again, you can only pick up 4, so if you have more than 4, you won't be able to pick them up. And he was doing a death warp, so he went to go pick up the power rod, failed, and then realized, oh damn, I already have 4 power rods.
Let me finish plugging the streams now. Nero, she has a song request, usually some pretty good music in her stream, and she usually streams most every day that I can tell. And she's a really great person and has been really helpful the last 2 weeks doing these races. So definitely go give her a follow. GG is actually PGH Guitar Guy. He's one of my favorite streams to be into later on in the evening. He actually plays the guitar and actually has a bunch of videos of him doing some pretty amazing solos. But he also plays vinyl. He takes vinyl requests, and he has like a collection of like 400 and something different albums. And that's pretty much how he ends his stream every single night. And we love sitting in there to the wee hours of the morning on the weekend and requesting some good classic rock songs. So give him a follow if that seems interesting to you. He also is the world record holder in WrestleMania for NES, and he plays Marble Madness as well. Poisoncurls, up until this week, he was the world record holder in Lion King for Super Nintendo, which he said that he wants to get back, but he's been busy practicing Bart. But I figure after this week, he'll probably be right back on that. He's the world record holder in Daydreamin' Davy, I think, for NES, and he's also a Mega Man X runner. I think he's like 19th in the world right now, and that's a very competitive game. So
that's a very competitive game. Yeah,
he's really fast. I mean, he's sub 36 now. I think he's 35-57 on 100% for that game. Like he's ridiculously fast to watch. So he definitely deserves a follow. And Square One, he works a lot, but he streams Mega Man 8 a lot. I've seen him streaming that. He's also a Mega Man X runner. He's very, very fast, and his beard is freaking amazing. Yeah, I don't know if you can see it down there, but like his beard is like probably about 6 inches long and just dense, like thickly wooded forest. I think it weighs as much as a newborn child. So if you're a beard fan, which I am, definitely go give him a follow. Yeah, we've got a lot of great people that do these races. There's different ones that swap in and out every week. And, of course, Coaz, if you want to jump into the mix some week, we can always name a game and let you run it.
Oh, that would be hard, for sure. I mainly do NES, but obviously...
Well, we do anything retro. We do some Sega games, some NES, some Super Nintendo, and we were actually toying around with the idea of doing Game Boy games as well. So,
wow.
And if you have a suggestion for a game, the only requirement for you being able to run a game is that you haven't really speedrun it before. You can have played it, but you cannot have really learned the speedrun, because we want to start out, generally speaking, at the same area. But anybody in chat, if you have a game that you would like to suggest for a future Sloth Race, join the Discord. Right below this broadcast, you'll see a Discord graphic. Click on it. It's an instant invite to my Discord server, and send me a message in there, and I'll give you the appropriate permissions. And you can send me a DM suggesting a game for one of the consoles that I just mentioned, and I'll do my best to get it in for you. That dinosaur, everybody hates that dinosaur. We never had the ability to talk about that. That dinosaur's head is extremely slippery.
Yeah. It is very high up, too.
Yeah,
so the hitbox is very high up. It's very small. And even after you do the third hit, if you did the third hit and you're all the way to like the far left, a mini cutscene appears, and that cutscene will kill your entire momentum, and you'll just shoot straight down into a hole and die. Have to retard fight again. So you need to understand how to control Bart in order to just get up there, let alone fight him.
Yeah, I mean, and it's so easy to like, you bounce a little bit, just a tiny bit, whenever you hit the top of that dinosaur. And it's so easy just to bounce and then slide right off and die. I mean, that's instant death. That's not like a one-hit thing.
You have to stop and then move versus hit and then immediately turn left, because you won't make the platform back at the bottom left.
There's nothing easy about this game. I mean, and a lot of the games that we do are hard. We've done some pretty hard ones in the past, but I mean, I think this one ranks up there with the hardest ones that we've done. I mean, even though they had 2 weeks to learn it, it's still tough.
Yeah.
I mean,
not that many people have been able to beat this game for obvious reasons.
Yeah,
if you were talking about just an NES game, there's always an ice world where, everything's just slippery. Well, just imagine an ice world, but every single level. You have to do precise jumping, and it's like, well, I'm not sure if I can do this now.
Pretty much, yeah. I mean, and again, it is worth pointing out that Square One, he's at the end of a 12-hour workday. He was not expecting to have to run this game. And though he has practiced it as a backup, that's not the same sort of dedication as somebody that is coming in expecting to be a full-on racer. But, we really appreciate him after working for 12 hours coming in and doing this for us. So he is not a bad gamer by any means, even though he's not had the same level of practice as the other three.
Yeah, when Poisoncurls finally the final power rod. He just needs to go touch Maggie and G for him.
Yep.
And there he goes. So congratulations to him for.
That's the sugar bear right there. He's got the second win of his Sloth Race career. Let's see if he'll. Well, let me go ahead and I'm gonna mute his game sound right there so we can bring him back in and talk to him. But yeah, he's the game sound, so obviously, but he's the winner. But so let's see if we can get him in here. If somebody can.
Hey, you can leave the game sound up because I don't have my mic on. I'm using my phone for Discord. You know.
My sugar bear. You got the second win, man. How's it feel?
Congratulations on that win.
Yo, thank you. I've put in a lot of time with this game in like the past week, so it paid off.
You've actually been playing pretty hard for 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Yeah, congratulations, man. So, like, what was your overall strategy? Like, you just go hard and hope you don't fuck it, or were you trying to be cautious in some areas that you didn't quite feel as good on, or?
Yeah, like on the first stage, I tried to pick up a couple more coins just to make sure that I would have enough to for the balloon game.
Yeah.
And just trying not to die, but still just trying to go as fast as I can.
You actually did pretty well.
Did like a deathless run of the museum level. That was pretty awesome.
So, what were your thoughts when you tried picking up the 5th power rod by accident?
Oh my gosh, I was like, why didn't I get it? And then I died, and I'm like, is the game messed up? And then I realized, I was like, oh, I got 4, I gotta go find Marge or go down to the basement. So
yeah, seeing your face on that was pretty funny, because this is the only level that has restrictions, so just not paying attention to that is a no-no.
Yeah, that was actually the first time I've ever even done that, like, even in practice. But
did you know about the Grandpa Simpson thing, Poison?
I did. I kind of read I did some research on it, on like different shit that you can do in the game.
Can you demonstrate it? Like, do you have time? Do you want to go through the first level?
I've never done it. I don't really know.
All you have to do is buy the whistle in one of the shops, go all the way at the end of the retirement home, and he'll appear if you whistled in the right spot.
Okay.
See if we can get that just while we're waiting on everybody else. But we do have an interesting second place battle going on. 8 goals left for Nero, 4 left for Guitar Guy. So they're right there. They're right there on top of it. So an unfortunate death by either one could actually let the other catch up or get further ahead. You see Nero's timer there, 50 minutes for both laps. She's actually timing both of them, and I think GG reset the timer. It was at 24:20 on his second run, but they are right there on it. How many donuts are in the last level? That's what I think there's 2 or 3.
No, I think there's 3 boxes that you can get, but again, it just depends on how well the person that plays. You won't really use them, mainly because every time you want to use the donuts, you get a mini cutscene of Homer coming down from the sky and destroying your...
Right. So that would slow you down more than just doing some clean jumps through the aliens.
Yeah, exactly. It's just another safe strat.
Got it.
So, a funny thing is, in World 5, you can go into the basement, but you can't go anywhere. Floor 5 in the basement, it's the only floor that you can't go anywhere. Yeah, but funny thing is if you kill yourself by letting the timer run out in the basement, the game will actually spawn you in the middle, and you can move around in the basement where you're not supposed to, and it turns the table from green to white. can't do anything with it, but it's a cool mini glitch that the game wasn't expecting.
All right, Poison's in front of
dying.
Poison's actually in front of the retirement home, or well, he was in front of
It's
the retirement
at the end, all the way to the far right.
Okay.
Oh,
Yep, but keep going right.
I died.
Yeah. Yeah, the whistle also spawns the dogs. So again, if you use the whistle at the end of the retirement home, the dog won't spawn and Grandpa would. But GG for
Yep,
PG.
GG, wrapping up run number 2, man. Congrats. Let's see if he comes back in here to be interviewed.
Oh, Poisoncurls needs to buy the whistle. There he goes.
Yeah, I'm interested to see like how you said it wasn't the best rendition of Grandpa.
It is
Simpson,
not.
like,
He looks rather messed up.
Can you tell that I mean he is old, so
Yeah.
I'm really interested just to see what he looks like all pixelated and stuff. Like, there's a lot of stuff in this game that looks less than optimal. Like, whenever Bart is standing still, he doesn't have a freaking nose.
Yeah, and as soon as he starts moving, his nose appears.
Yeah, I don't know exactly what that is.
No idea. It's just that developers forgot to put a nose on him while he stands, I guess.
Yeah, still a good game. All right, and Neuro getting a close third.
So GG for Nero. And again, even though Square One has not been able to beat the game, you should not feel bad. Like, what he did was incredible. Just so for someone that hasn't been able to practice the game as much, the game is very difficult.
Yeah, I mean, and again, like, I could barely make it past the second level myself. And, like, I mean,
Yeah,
I played
so
this game
right
as a
there,
kid,
Poison.
too. It's just
You
so...
use the list. Nope.
Well,
Go
there
too
you
far.
go.
Yeah, right there.
What? Get out of
Hello.
here. Oh, okay.
There he is.
Hey, Gigi, what's
Right
up,
there.
dude? Congrats, you got second place.
Oh, sweet. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, great job.
Poison was
Thank
just
you.
demonstrating the Grandpa Springfield thing with the whistle.
Yeah, he only appears once, so if you use the whistle a second time, the dog will just come rushing.
So, what was your strategy? Like, just take it slow and hope to finish like you were talking before, or did you get a little cocky?
No. So before the race, I was actually talking to my sister off camera, and I said, my goal here is to do sub 27. And I actually hit sub 26 both runs.
Yeah.
So I was very, very, very pleased with that.
That's a super good run, regardless if it wasn't a PB for you, of course. But anything sub 30 is a wonderful time.
I'll tell you what, I was super excited after the third level when I looked up at my splits and saw I was 52 seconds ahead of my PB. And it's like, okay, here we go. And then it's death. Darn it!
Yeah, the game can be very tricky, but as you can tell, there's a lot to improve in the game, but you just need to go for riskier strats every time. And it's like, do I really want to do that with slippery slopes part? You know, it's just yes or no.
Yeah, for sure, definitely. Well, let me take a second real quick and thank Sloth here for bringing me into the community and letting me race. It's been a lot of fun. It's been a grind, but I've really enjoyed it. So thank you.
You're welcome, dude. We're glad to have you. Again, I was talking earlier about your vinyl stream, man. Like, yeah, I am your biggest fan.
I appreciate that. We have a good time.
Definitely Landmines is not your biggest fan. I'm your biggest fan.
He would probably beg to differ.
I know. Nope. I have been in there every single time. Landmines is not. He does not love you as much as me. But yeah, no, definitely. If you guys like
you guys are
classic
awesome.
rock music, follow GG. That dude is amazing.
Thank
is
you.
Nero,
Thank you so much.
Zero in here? The Rocket Master? Can you hear us?
What?
Nero's mic is muted.
No, I can hear Nero.
No, that's Square.
Yo,
What's up?
I can hear Nero too.
I can't. Oh,
You
okay.
get better ears.
No, my bad. Oh, that's what it was. She forgot to mute herself at the beginning of the race, so I muted her. So, yeah. That way, okay. Here, let me unmute. That's my fault. I'm sorry. There you go. Nero.
I struggled so
Okay.
bad.
Oh, you did good. It's not bad.
No, I struggled for sure.
You might have struggled, but you still beat the game both times. And
Yeah.
again, you should be proud of yourself.
She hasn't even played it in 2 days because she got a new game and she totally abandoned it. Which is unfortunate. But we do have a new reigning champion, Poisoncurls. Poison, are you going to be able to defend your title next week?
Yeah.
Alright, got a new follow, Make Bad Choices. Oh, he's hosting me, Make Bad Choices. Thank you for the host, sir. But no, so next week's game, I've already got the commentator's already in the Discord and has been for some time. So the commentator is among you. Does anybody have a theory on who that might be?
Is it landmark?
No. I knew you were going to guess that, but no.
Well, keep bringing up Pitfall.
No, definitely not mine. Okay. Does anybody want to volunteer for the race? Nero? This one's going to be... I'm told via the commentator that this game is easier to pick up than Bart versus the Space Mutants because we're going to play it on easy and you're going to start with maximum lives. And it's only about maybe a 15-minute speed run for the world record.
You can do that lying as well. It doesn't matter.
He says if you have trouble finishing the game, just crank the lives up. So I figured that would be our starting point. We just start with max lives, and that way the pressure would be off. But that's going to be a week from today. Does anybody want in? It's Super Nintendo.
Oh, and that kind of counts me out.
It has better controls. You're gonna. That's just totally crazy of you to say because you said that you were really excited by this game and that you'd never be able to repay me for picking it. Like that's. It's not fake news. I mean, it's a fun game. I've played it before. It's really, really fun. But yeah, so I guess I can go ahead and announce it. Square, you're being awful quiet. Are you going to take a week off and rest?
I think I might need to take this week off.
I think that's probably reasonable considering that you were thrown into to the race the last few seconds. I wish my chat was working. For some reason, my chat bot didn't connect. I can't really announce the game until we have 4 people because otherwise the last person would not be able to get as much practice.
Yeah, I'll be out of races for probably 3 to 4 weeks because of nationals.
Yeah, you're going on a national bowling tournament.
Yeah.
Just bowl a bunch of 300s. It's only like 30 strikes in a row. You got it.
I would love that. That would be a lot of money.
That would be great. I mean, it's pretty easy. You know what I'm saying? Oh, okay. Landmines is in. So that's 3. So poison, neuro, landmines. Need 1 more. Alright, so somebody's going to have to message me in Discord because, I'll tell you what, it's probably going to mess up the stream just a tiny bit, but I'm going to go ahead and open up another Chrome window and I'm going to open up a Chrome window and then get my stream up so I can actually just watch it on Twitch. That way I can actually see. But that's 3 out of 4. And again, this is about 15 minutes or so as far as the world record goes. Alright, so I've got it up. Stream is up. Anybody else want in? And I don't think it's going to be as hard. Not according to the world record holder.
Like, I'm good when it comes to racing because right now I'm working in a game called Mutants. Mutants, and I'm not going to be stopping for that. Just to try a different game. That's just not what I do.
And the other thing that is about the Sloth Race, a lot of people don't try it out because it's so hard. It's supposed to be. Like, if you have somebody that cannot finish a game, that is not because they are a bad gamer or didn't practice. It is because these are supposed to be hard. Learning a speed run in a week or 2 weeks is hard, and not many people could do it. So the people that you see here finishing these games, these are the cream of the crop. So anybody out there that wants to try, if you give it honest practice for a week and somehow you don't make it, you're not going to face any criticism from me, because you're still better than I could ever be. I mean, I'm the sloth, for fuck's sake. I'm not the guy that goes fast. I'm just the guy that watches others do it. But yeah, super respect to all of our racers. I appreciate all the hard work that you guys do. And I guess this is a pretty good place to end it. Again, if anybody's watching and they want to, if they want to try out a race, we're going to have our next race next Saturday, and I'll announce what it is in my Discord. So right below this broadcast, click on the graphic that says Discord, join, and then I'll add you to the appropriate chat rooms. Prince Remedy. Prince is in. All right, Prince Remedy's in. Out. Yeah, Prince, don't you have a world record or something? Like, what do you run? Have you ever speed run a game? I could have sworn I saw your name on the leaderboard for a game. Prince the Boss. Oh, yeah, that's right. Prince Remedy runs Aladdin. That's where I've seen his name for. I knew it. Like, I have been in GG's chat every single night with Prince, and I love Aladdin, and I've never actually known that he ran it. Like, I could have sworn I saw him run something, and that makes perfect sense. All right, we got it. All right, so the game, the commentator is going to be the Drifter 18. Poison probably knows him from the Mega Man community.
Yep.
But he also is a former world record holder for Contra 3 Alien Wars, and that is going to be the game. And he's already agreed to be the commentator this time next week.
On what did?
Easy. You're going to run it on easy, and you're going to run it with max lives.
Okay.
Somebody's got some feedback coming. Oh, yeah, it's Poison's phone. Probably getting a little feedback. But yeah, no, now it's Contra 3, not the original Contra. Original Contra is pretty freaking hard. Contra 3 Alien Wars. It's about a 15-minute world record, so it's not too bad to learn. Like, it's not like a lot of memorization that's going to have to be done on your part, so you should be able to use save states and get through it in a day, and then after that just break it down to individual levels. But Drifter is going to be in the chat at, go ahead and there you go. But send him any questions that you may have. And he's here to advise us. We can help you guys learn the game. But okay, so next week it's going to be Poison, Neuro, Prince, and Landmines. But I think we're about done here, guys. So who's going to keep streaming?
I'm about to go live, but I wasn't part of the race, I guess.
I will be blowing up station.
I will be playing final.
GG wins. I'm going to host you, GG. I may be a little biased. I don't know. But yeah, we're going to host GG. But thanks, everybody. Poison, I'm going to get with you about your prize money, buddy. A sloth always pays his debts. You know that. You guys, thanks for everything. Have a good night.
Appreciate the race and for letting me be here.
Legion, thanks for all your insight, man.
Yeah, no problem. I did my best.
Oh, you were awesome. That map you provided was clutch.
Yeah, It's something I needed to do in order to route the game while I was speedrunning it myself, because I just had no idea what was going on.
Well, we certainly appreciate it. Thank you again.
Yeah, no problem.
All right, I'm going to jump out of here and go play some music.